Here's your host, Giuseppe Grammatico, the franchise guide.
I founded SprayNet in 2010. We actually manufacture our own proprietary coatings. You'll see behind me here, I don't know if you can see this, custom chemistry for smarter painting. So basically, we have these surface tailored coatings that we apply to exterior and interior surfaces like vinyl windows, siding, kitchen cabinets. And we actually have 4 patents on our process and chemistry in order to be able to give that 15-year warranty that we give. So started that in 2000, started franchising in 2014, actually. So it's been over 10 years now, and expanded to the US. So we're originally from Canada, expanded to the US in 2022. And we actually now have more US locations than we do Canadian ones. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Oh, wow. So more, I did not realize that. So more locations in the US. Wow. Okay. With SprayNet, I know it started off with siding, right? I believe it was painting and siding. So talk to us about the evolution, because, when I talk to people, they always ask, it's like, okay, do I have to expand and add maybe a complementary business? We call it brand stacking. And then in some cases, brands will add on additional services. So talk to us kind of where you started and where you are today, as far as maybe if you could list out the services you offer.
Well, it's funny that you talk about brass stacking, because initially we only did exteriors. In seasonal markets, we basically operated from May to end of October. And that was enough for most franchisees to kind of make a living for the whole year and be happy with it. But, a lot of people wanted more. So then we stacked and layered in kitchen cabinet refinishing, kind of just to, complement the seasonality of our business. And then now kitchen cabinets is almost 50% of our business in the US, which is huge. It actually took off like crazy. And what's amazing about kitchen cabinets is when people do the cabinets, do the exterior and vice versa. And now we're adding on another business. We actually say, SprayNet for just 3 businesses. One, we actually have a new roofing business that I can get into if you'd like. But yeah, so this actually started in 2016. So we're doing exteriors. People would often be like, well, I'm not going to do the outside of my house because my roof's not going to match. I'm going to spend $20K to change the color of my roof. So, we set out to kind of find a way to change the color of the roof. But like everything we do, we didn't want it to look repainted. So we said, how can we actually just replace these granules? It took us years. In 2019, we actually had our first iteration of a product. We were able to spread granules on top of a roof. We did that, and we realized this had a whole bunch of other benefits. Increased impact resistance, wind resistance. Long story short, we applied for a patent in 2019. We actually were just granted this patent 2 months ago in the US. So we actually have a patent on our roof coating too. So we're really like 3 businesses in one. So there's no need to start anything else. Our franchisees have trouble keeping up already with what we have.
Congrats. So that's awesome. So with the patent, that's great. And now, with the different services, in a way, it's almost a reoccurring service, right? I mean, it's people are coming in for one service, like the siding, then the cabinets going to the roof, if not doing it all at one time. But, people always ask what's reoccurring and what's not. And it seems like people are, maybe testing you out on the exterior, bringing you inside. I mean, what's your experience been with that?
Well, it's funny. So we finally had our first customer who did all 3 of our services, right? Which is amazing because, did the exterior, they did the cabinets, and we went back to do the roof. And we're starting to see that more and more and more, right? If you like your vendor, your supplier, or whoever, someone's coming to your house, you trust them. Well, obviously you use them for other services. But the whole recurring revenue thing, it's funny because a lot of the recurring revenue is small. You get these pest control or whatnot. Right. Our average job size is almost $6,000. So, to have that recurring revenue over 10 years or have it right away, I mean, I'd rather have it right away. And then, we tell our franchisees, our recurring revenue, like you mentioned, is now let's try to get the other services on that house. And we just leverage that customer and that customer acquisition cost, right? You give that ROI.
That makes a lot of sense. You're right. Reoccurring, like mosquito spraying, maybe $100 or a couple $100 a month. So what is that annualized? Yeah. Assume you can even spray all 12 months. So that is a really good point when you kind of look at the total job size. So awesome. There was a question I was going to ask. I started thinking of that got me into a different, I was going to go in a different direction there. All right. So kind of going back to SprayNet, we created a series. We're bringing on founders of various franchise companies in all different industries. And the reason we're doing that is to educate. Not every brand is going to fit what you're looking for. And really what it comes down to is not the widget, not the service, but really the characteristics of who does well in the business based off your experience, based off of that franchise avatar. So talk to anyone that's maybe looking into something like a company like SprayNet in the home services space. What are the key characteristics? Who is that person that you're looking for that will do well in this type of business?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've been for a long time.
Mhm.
We are not the right fit for everyone. I
Right.
mean, that's just the reality of it. We're not a simple business. We've got 3 services, we've got multiple spray guns, we've got all of this cool stuff. But the reality is it makes for a less simple business.
Right.
But on the flip side, you got this higher barrier to entry, very unique, high margin. So someone who's looking for something simple, not having to spend that much time, building a business or whatnot, probably not the right fit for them. We're really looking for people who are not looking for that boring business that anybody else can do. Something that's actually different. The flip side of that, like I tell people is it's great. You're excited about the service. It is really cool. Trust me. I know I've been doing this for a long time. Customers are ecstatic about it, but the flip side is people are skeptical that it's possible, right? So it takes some time to get that awareness and get your business off the ground. So it is a bit of a deeper rep, right? Like it takes a bit of time to get ramped up, but once you get ramped up, we've done 13 houses on the same street, right? People love it, but it's not like roofing. Everybody knows, for example, that I need to replace my roof or a plumber or whatnot. Not everybody knows you can spray your vinyl windows or your vinyl siding or finish your
For sure.
cabinets in this way or do your roof in this way. It's an awareness thing on our end.
Yeah, education is key because I didn't know until we met several years ago that you can actually do that. And I go, wow, I already have fading on one side of the home, so we got a quote to replace that, and that was pretty scary given the home is just over 10 years old. So in actuality, you're not really competing. And correct me if I'm wrong. You're not really competing with painting companies. You're competing with contractors looking to replace the roof, contractors looking to replace siding or even cabinets, if I'm not mistaken.
We're lucky because we fit nicely in between. So
Right.
like painters don't do a lot of the stuff that we do. So we actually refer them. We don't paint walls, right? Like
Right.
we don't do like decks or peeling paint or whatnot. So we'll refer them work and they'll refer us back some work, right? There are some overlaps, but generally that's how it works. With contractors, often they'll refer us too, because instead of losing the customer or not getting the job anyways, they'll be like, well, you know what? Like there's no need to replace this. Like for example, in your case, there's no need to replace this. It just needs to just be freshened up. Here's a company that can do this properly. And then vice versa, we refer them when the siding is just destroyed.
Right.
And it's like, hey, so we're kind of nicely nestled in the middle where we get referrals and we can refer them out. So yeah, I guess we're an alternative to replacement in some cases. That'd be probably the most accurate way to.
That's a good point, right? Because even with the roof and the siding, sometimes it needs to be replaced. There's shingles missing, there's leaks, there's nothing you can really do. So,
Yeah.
what do you have an idea? So compared to traditional paint, because I'm sure people have tried painting their kitchen cabinets with the roller and just regular paint. So, is how much of a premium, I guess, is the question, over paint? And on the flip side, what are people saving versus replacing cabinets or siding? I don't know if you have kind of estimates.
Yeah. So typically wherever there is overlap in us with conventional painters, we're generally about 25 to 30%, maybe more expensive. So like not a huge amount. And, obviously versus replacement, we're probably a quarter of the price, sometimes even a fifth of the price. But really it's a no brainer because you paint something, it's not going to last very long. It's going to scratch. You do this last 15 years, won't scratch, won't peel, looks brand new. You can wash it. Like, actually at convention this year, I launched our new version of our kitchen coating. And one of my party tricks, I like to call it, was I actually started my presentation with a piece of our our cabinet. I put wine on it. I put coffee on it. At the end of it, I just wiped it and showed everybody how nice.
Like one of those infomercials. Yeah, I like that.
I'm like, imagine like I would put on Musk where he throws that ball and it breaks
the glass. And it's true. I mean, that's the stuff that happens, right? I mean, let's talk real life examples of what actually goes on in a kitchen. So no, I love that. And what does it look like for someone? So someone just ends up, they buy a SprayNet franchise in the territory they live. What does the initial kind of team look like, and what is that franchisee doing? So where from kind of that first month to maybe month 12, what are they doing, just to give the audience a little idea as far as their role?
Yeah. So, I mean, we started training, right? So training, we've got online training, then we get into actual virtual training, and then we have our hands-on training at our Miami office. So That has to do with sales, financial planning, how to hire people, all of that fun stuff, all the basics of business, how to use spray guns, etc., which is fun. People love spraying actually. And then from there, you get your first quotes, right? Those go to our call center. We schedule the quotes. We send out a sales trainer to do the first quotes with the franchisee. They sign a backlog. So once we hit, at least 10 jobs backlog, then we start producing those jobs. So at that point, you'll have hired a crew of 4 to 5 people. And then we'll come in and we'll do those first jobs with you too, with your crew, and train you and your crew. So that's typically what goes. I mean, that whole process from training to starting your first job, probably about 60 days, 60 to 90 days, depending on how quickly you're able to sign jobs.
And that's huge. I mean, not only you're offering training, but you're actually doing the first couple jobs with them. And that's where, I own franchises, and we talk about support, and every franchise, you can't look at, okay, this industry, and this is a sport. I get every franchise is going to be different as their approach, who they're looking for. And a big part of training is that hands-on training, the travel, because you go to training, at a remote location, at the headquarters, you come back, you're super excited. And it's like, okay, what do I do now? They almost need that extra push. Like, okay, let's apply it firsthand, directly in front of customers. Let's do a job. Let's come across all the issues that that you're going to come across on these jobs. So training and support have been kind of the number one question. It used to be, well, how much money can I make? Right. Jokingly. And it's like, well, it's just like any business, you're going to run your pro formas and things like that. But now it's kind of like, I've never owned the business. I don't know what I don't know. I really need that support.
SprayNet now offers 3 powerful services. But how did this service expansion strategically address franchisee needs and market demands? Find out in our next segment.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to learn how to make the transition from corporate to owning your franchise, join Giuseppe on the next episode. You can also follow on all social media platforms and achieve financial and time freedom today.